Greetings, and first of all, to thank the IMA for giving us the award in the area of health and safety. Much appreciated. And again, thank you to all. This presentation that the award was based upon is about the evolution of the pandemic and our mechanism to adjust and overcome. And I'm not going to read the entire presentation. I'm going to try and condense it down, glaze over the important slides and points. We've seen the onset of the virus in North America in the first months of 2020. Of course, having had some previous information about its effects in China, Europe, other parts of the world. And when we did hear this news and realized that it was inevitable that we would be affected by the virus and pandemic, we treated this as any other health and safety issue. It was looked at as though it were a potential for injury or illness in our plant and work environment, and was addressed the same way as we would any other health and safety concern. We went through the steps of creating a focus group, the information gathering, reaching out to sources like Index, our local governments, etc., and putting forward our planning for addressing this as a health and safety concern. In early planning, of course, manpower, production levels, production availability, a workforce who was genuinely scared, the many different raw material issues, shipping issues, transportation company issues, etc., throughout this entire ordeal. Some points of interest about there was several government mandated programs to be enrolled in, such as the new normality. We also had to support the fact that our company was considered essential, and to do that we had to have help from our sales group and our corporate office of having their customers provide documentation excuse me, and translate that documentation and be effectively used to gain this essential status within our operations. Sanitary inspections, working very closely with state, federal, and local governments to get these approvals completed. Forward planning, again, to get everything, all of our ducks in a row, basically, have it ready and make our case and maintain this safe standard to give our employees confidence that they were working in a safe environment. Some improvisation that we did, these are sanitary foot wash station that came up with the idea of using totes when we were unable to buy due to the supply and demand issues with systems like this. So we cut down a couple of totes. We made a water chlorine solution that we would check the concentration of chlorine daily with some litmus tape, adjust as needed, step through chlorine wash, then a clear water wash on the second one, put some shade over it to help maintain the chlorine. Daily checks with our nurse Rosie, temperature, a questionnaire with name, date, fever, cough, muscle aches, etc. questionnaire. Social distancing lines, for a punch clock line up, keeping people separated, directional arrows. Sanitary protocol in the cafeteria kitchen areas. Meetings were conducted in the common area instead of the boardroom, separating people at greater distance. Of course, meetings in person were cut down to what was absolutely necessary, and others were conducted on Teams, Zoom, etc. Cafeteria, again, more improvisation with the plexiglass separators. The base of these separators is actually a profile that we extrude at our plant, and buying sheet of plexiglass and attaching them to this and having our maintenance crew fix them to the tables. Again, the separation of the tables, restricting the number of people allowed into the cafeteria at any given time, or other common areas as well. Forward planning, we were able to have our essential status that allowed us 75% of our employees to maintain their positions in the plant and working. With this, we were able to take on our essential customers and maintain the minimum number, or minimum output rather, of produced goods to facilitate their needs. A lot of things had to fall in place with this, and again, with a shortage of PPE, for example, and it was possible for our corporate office to procure masks, gloves, other PPE directly from China and have it shipped to the US and then crossed into Mexico when we couldn't buy these goods in Mexico. The traffic light system that Mexico developed, red being severe, green being open, changed bi-weekly and kind of set the standard. And there was a vulnerable group, the people with severe hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, etc. And during red and orange had limited access to be able to come into the workforce with these vulnerabilities, so they would remain at home. Just to look at different states and their status. The COVID cases in Mexico, how they evolved and swept upward. And here locally in Nuevo Laredo, the caseload again, summer of 2020, and another resurgence around Christmas months later in the year. Hospitalization rates, both private and government. And moving forward, again, adapt. Maintain the confidence of your people, get everybody bought into it. I can't say enough good things about the people in the Mexico plant. We cross-trained, we had people working in different areas of the plant. We had them, gave them the confidence that we were a safe operating facility, and we're actually the #1 facility in terms of low turnover rate amongst the 27 maquiladoras belonging to the Index Group, who is our local maquila association. And we maintained that very low turnover rate because we gained the reputation of being a company that was looking after our employees, maintaining all of the safety protocols required and some. We were even conducting one-on-one and group training with people about, especially if they had vulnerabilities, what they needed to do, how to be more safe. Don't wear your work clothes home. When you go home, don't remain in your work clothes. Get them off, get showered, get clean clothes so you're not risking transmitting this virus into your home. A lot of hurdles and adaptation, of course, a lot of curveballs thrown during this entire pandemic. Not necessarily just the virus itself, but the offshoots and the circumstances that came up around the virus with logistics, etc. Feel free to read through at your leisure. In the months ahead, again, maintain, change, keep your ear to the ground. We not only were looking at state and federal and local COVID information, we were listening to our workers who would report, 3 new cases on my street and in my colony, and most of the people in our plant are from the same general area in Nuevo Laredo. So we had that personal information and we used it. We listened, we let them communicate it to us. We, again, ear to the ground and adapt and change, analyze, work towards a solution. The new normal, everybody's tired about hearing about it, but it's here. It continues to be here with the new normal. We have to maintain this safety protocol. Don't let up. There are cases here of factories in Nuevo Laredo who got lax on their protocol, ended up having infection enter their facilities and actually take them down for at minimum 48 hours while they cleared out the infectious areas and had the sanitation crews in to disinfect entire lines, floor spaces, cafeterias, locker rooms, restrooms, etc. A lot of downtime incurred over this COVID coming back due for the fact of starting to let up on the safety protocols. The result, we were very fortunate to have a very low number of COVID cases, and those that we did have were caught quickly and isolated. We know of only one infection that came from within our plant from a person who was infected outside, and in the very, very early days, actually our first infection, and then another person working close to this person had become infected. To look at the numbers, you see here are 5 cases in July of 20, and again, 4 of those were all from outside contact, 1 from within our plant. The Mexico team, can't say enough things about these people. A great time working with and beside them. They're the reason for it, and they're also the reason that the plant is still there and the reason we got through this. It's all on the people. With the small amount of direction we did, and their cooperation is what got us through, without a doubt. And again, special thanks to our corporate side and everybody else that helped us through these times and gave us the support we needed to keep our customers with the materials that they needed and move our plant forward. And wishing each and every one of you all the success and prosperity you can have, and also to maintain the new normality and keep yourselves and your employees safe. Thank you. Take care.